Hi guys, and welcome back to another vlog. I thought while I've got a quick spare hour, I'm going up to poo pick the boys' field because Buddy and Frankie have been living out, that I would do a quick story time on what happened with the new horse that was back in Scotland within 6 days of arriving with us, what happened with her, how Frankie he's just fat and fairy, and a little bit of a rundown of what's happening with Buddy and Bambi. So the boys have been living out. I just needed a week to just recoup, get my head together, figure out what I wanted to do with the horses, where I want to be with the horses, if we just want to keep Frankie. And to be honest, even after a week, I still don't know how I feel about all that. So I just thought, let's take you along for story time. I'll take you along to see the boys, and then I can fill you all in of what's been happening. So if you don't like chatty vlogs, this isn't going to be one for you, because it's just going to be my ugly mug talking to you for the whole time, and you will see the boys, who are just mud monsters at the minute. But yeah, I'll take you with us and you can see exactly how they are and finally get the lowdown of what happened with the new horse. Good morning. Come on. Hello, Frankie boy. Hi, the fluffy ears. Hi, bud. You're so fluffy. Yeah? Oh, Frankie's having a bum scratch. Ready for some hay? Poo pick this field. Can you give me a chance to get it out? Frankie's grown. Look how big he's gotten. And Buddy has put on so much weight. He's actually starting to look like a 3-year-old now, even though he'll be nearly 4 soon, which is good. So I thought, let's start with Buddy, seeing as he's here. He's thinking, what are you doing on the floor? Is the sun in our way? Hi. Hello, mate. Oh, you're a good boy. Let me move. The sun isn't working in our favour, is it? So, Buddy is putting weight on. He's looking so much better. He is an absolute mud monster at the minute. He should have a head collar on, which makes my life a little bit easier trying to catch him. We're still kind of bribing him with a bucket on my arm, and then I can slowly reach under and get his head collar and clip him on. But in the week that he's been living out, he has got that off. Frankie's come over to say hello. Before they went out for their little week out, he had the farrier, which he was so unsure about, but he finally gave in. He let us do it, and he was a good boy, which is big progress for him. So he's quite happy jumping on his hay. He's putting weight on. He's bum high still. He's nowhere near ready to do anything with, and I don't plan on forcing that. He definitely looks like a young 3, despite his passport saying he was born on the 1st of the 1st, 19. So I'm glad that he's actually getting the time to just be a horse, be a baby, and be out. It's definitely doing him the world of good, just isn't doing the bonding any good. Obviously trying to catch him and get him back in is hard work, but he'll come in when he's ready. I'm going to leave them for another week, I think, in the field. I'm coming down twice a day. I'm putting hay out for them, and obviously checking the water, and if need be, giving him a feed. So I think another week, and then I'm really going to try and crack on with him and just get him to trust me. I'm going to have to try and get a head collar back on him somehow, but I think it's going to be a case of herding him from the field, following Frankie with a feed bucket to the stable, and then we'll cross that bridge once he's in a stable. Once he's in, I've got more chance of getting anywhere near him, although he is letting me, but see, good boy. He's just so unsure of life. Good boy. And then he just wants to walk away. But in the stable, if you move towards him too quickly, he just bolts away from you and he's gone. And I'm not prepared to scare him like that, or, you know, set him back even further than he's already been. So yeah, that's Buddy. So I've had to bribe Frankie with some carrots to even come over and give us any form of attention. He is ready to be back in January, so he's having his week out, 2 weeks out, being a baby, and then unfortunately we'll go on to winter turnout, which I think is good going, you know, coming in the middle of November. Oh, you dropped it? It's really good. He has grown so much since the day he came. I'm hoping he's hairier rather than fatter, but I just don't know if that's the case. Oh, and the farmer started shooting. I also can't decide whether to try and find a pony breakers for him or to just do it myself. Oh, Buddy's found the carrots in the hay pile in the wheelbarrow. Yeah, I can't decide whether to back him myself and get him going fully off the lead before we even consider starting Harper off. Understood, muffin? Or finding a pony breaker. I don't really know of any pony breakers because I think that's a hard one. You've obviously got to be a certain weight and a certain height and all that jazz. So I am on like a major diet. So if I decide that I want to break him, I can. I'm sorry. No carrots on the floor. So yeah, I don't know what to do with Frankie, but if anyone's got any suggestions or anyone knows of any pony breakers, I'm willing to send him to the best, because he needs to be perfect for the baby to make sure obviously she's safe. Careful. So I'm gonna put the second wheelbarrow hay out, and then I will come back to you with the reason why you're all here. You all want a story time of Clover, so I'll be back. They have plenty of hay. I've given them double today because I don't plan on coming back later this afternoon. They've got a full big massive bucket of water, they've got all this hay, they've had loads of carrots, and there is still some grass out here. It's not completely bare, but I do like to make sure they've got plenty. They've practically got half a bale of haylage out here at the minute. So the new horse, the 9.5 hour drive to Scotland and back, didn't obviously work out as we anticipated. If you haven't already watched the vlog of the new horse coming and me trying her, then go and watch that one first, because when I say she was quiet, you'll understand how quiet she was. Like, I didn't think this horse was gonna bat an eyelid at anything. So she came home on the Tuesday. Wow, Buddy. Woo. Somebody's fresh. So she came home on the Tuesday. We got back about 5 o'clock. It was really late. It was dark. Obviously, we've been on the road since like 7 o'clock in the morning. She actually settled quicker than I thought she would in the stable on the Tuesday. She was coming off the trailer. She was snorting. Her nose was on the floor walking to the stable. She went in, she settled, she had her dinner. That was all hunky-dory. I came back on the Wednesday morning. Are you coming to see what's going on, bud? Just a wheelbarrow, mate. Just for poo picking. Yeah? So I came back on the Wednesday morning and was like, do you know what, I'm going to give her a day in the field. She didn't even know Buddy and Frankie existed at this point because they were in the backfield by the arena. They were living out in the backfield. So Tuesday night, she didn't even know they existed. Wednesday morning, she didn't know they existed. So she went out and she came out as quiet as anything. She had a little bit of a trot round, she had a canter round, but she didn't go off her head. She didn't buck them, but she did have a buck, but she didn't go wild the way these two do. So I was like, okay, she is still what we bought. She's still exactly what we expected. So then came to getting her in on Wednesday night and she was having none of it. It was absolutely torrential raining. The sky was purple. It was the weirdest sky I've ever seen. And she was running rings around me. And I was like, okay, this is fun. Thankfully, I did leave a field safety head collar on her because I just didn't know what she was going to be like. Anyway, I was like, okay, fine, you can stay out then. Went back to the gate and she soon followed me. She came in. Thursday, she came back out to the field. I was like, I'm going to give her a couple of days to settle. Thursday, she went out. She came in fine. Friday, what happened Friday? Friday, she didn't go out. I hand raised her in the morning because the farrier was coming for Frankie and Buddy, so they weren't going out. So I was like, do you know what, she can just stay in as well. She had her saddles checked and the farrier came to do the boys. He looked over her feet and said, oh, she's got really good feet, don't think we'll have an issue with her. Booked her in for a date for her feet. And then Adam rang me and was like, do you want me to come down so you can get on? Because I had the baby with me as well. And I was like, yeah, I can't really get on my own while I've got her with me. My dad and his wife were going out, so although they had her for me while the farrier was here, they couldn't have her, so I could get on, and it was a good job really. So he comes down, attacks her up, and all of a sudden she just changed. And I was like, okay, she didn't really want me to tack her up. She was walking away from me, and she settled eventually, and I just took things slow. I walked her down to the arena, I walked her around the arena. Oh, Thursday night I lunged her, so she'd already seen the arena and I'd walked her all about. So Friday, did all that, took her to the mountain block and went to get on. Put my left leg in the stirrup, and as I went to swing my right leg over, this horse blind bolted at a full-blown gallop from one end of our arena to the other whilst throwing these huge bucks. And I wasn't even in the saddle, so there was no way on this planet that I was going to be able to sit what she was throwing at me, which was just horrendous. So I was literally on the floor, winded. Then Harper's crying. This horse is running around the school like a lunatic, and Aaron just didn't know where to run to. So I got up, shook myself off. I'm livid now. Normally I always go, film this, and I thought, nah, nothing's going to happen. What's the point? Like, it's not going to be exciting for anybody. So didn't even bother. And I'm now devastated that we haven't had the cameras put in yet, because the footage that would have come from it would have been, no one is going to believe that this even happened because she is so quiet. So I attempted to get back on again. Aaron came in and held her. And the minute my left leg was even in the stirrup, she was like trying to run. She did run off. She ran through Aaron. And I obviously jumped up and landed back on my feet before she could run off again. And I just said, you know what, today isn't the day for all this. Maybe she still isn't settled. We've got Harper with us. It's not the time. If we get hurt, nobody's here to help. So put it away, give her a dinner, blah, blah, blah. Same as usual. Saturday morning, the physio was coming, because whenever I get a new horse that's being backed or is being ridden, I always get the physio, always get the farrier to check them over. I knew she wasn't due to the dentist because I've had the date for a dentist, and obviously her daddy's saddles checked and the physio, so I was like, okay. So we lunged her for the physio, did all the usual stuff, and he was like, can you get on her? Like, oh, why don't you just get on her while I'm here? And I was like, okay. Well, she wouldn't even go near the mountain block, not even stand by. I have got a couple of clips of just trying to get her to the block, but this was after like an hour and 20 minutes after she's already decked me. So 30 minutes in, finally was like, okay, I'm just going to try and get on. Put my foot in the stirrup, and the exact same thing happened. and I couldn't believe it. I am so bruised. I will just take a video of one of my legs. If you've got me on Instagram, you'll have already seen this, because we're on day 8 now of bruises and there's no sign of them going away. I have never hit the deck so hard in my life. Even when Bambi squashed me, I was in more pain now. And obviously now my hips are so weak. I was just lying on the floor, couldn't breathe. I just seen John the physio running towards me, Adam running towards me, and I was just like, oh my god, what has just happened? John went to go and get her, and she like reared up and was like running away from him. So we took the saddle off and all that, and I said, let's just get her comfortable with the block. And she just wouldn't go near it. So I said, you know what, like, she clearly isn't happy, she clearly isn't settled. I'm not prepared to put her through it if she's not happy. So contacted the lady who I bought her off. I'd already been in contact with her on the Friday to explain what's happened, and she was like, no, there's no way, like, she's so quiet, no one's going to believe that, and all this. She went, let me know how you get on tomorrow, but treat her as a breaker. I said, I haven't spent an awful lot of money, over 10 grand, on a horse to treat it as a breaker when it's backed and it's been out of Edinburgh and it's already been cross country. It's done everything it needed to do. I haven't spent all that money to then treat it as a breaker. So then Saturday contacted her and I said, look, I think you're going to have to take her back. It's clear she isn't settled here, and I'm not prepared to make her unhappy and for her to be unsettled to then set her back in how nice she is. Well, drama. She was like, I'm not prepared to buy it back for the price that you paid, like offering me 2 grand less than I paid for it. I said, no, I'm sorry, but that's just, buddy, steady. I said, that is just completely unreasonable. I'm not prepared to do that. So I ignored the messages while I was trying to get some legal advice on it. And then the next minute she messaged me again saying, she offered me £1,000 less than I paid for it, but I want it back by, this was a Saturday, I want it back by the end of the weekend. Meanwhile, we're out for the afternoon waiting for a firework display, so she weren't going back to it tonight, the Saturday night. She wanted it back on the Sunday and wanted me to drive it all the way to Scotland. And I was like, I'm sorry, but that is completely unreasonable. So she said, well, you can pay my fuel then to come and get it. And I said, I'm not paying your fuel. If you want it back or you're going to buy it back, then that's down to you to come and get her. So I ended up meeting her halfway in Carlisle. Cut a long story short, I took less money for it to go back. And then when we obviously met at the service station to drop her off, it just got heated. And I was like, do you know what, let's just go. She didn't even bring it a head collar. Like, so she took my head collar, and I said, well, you need to post that back to me, because that's from the horse that we lost, and I'm not prepared to lose that. So she, give her a due, she did post it back. I've contacted her twice, and she sent me videos saying, like, footage of her, just the horse just being normal. And I said, well, it was clearly obvious then that she wasn't happy, so let's talk about the rest of that money that you owe me. And she just hasn't answered me. And I'm obviously more money down, because I did actually borrow the money from my dad to buy her, because Bambi still hasn't sold. So I was like, okay, I really want her. My dad was like, I'll give you the money when Bambi sells, just give me the money back. So obviously when this horse went back, I was like, well, I'll just give my dad the money back, which obviously meant she gave me £1,000 less. I still had to give my dad the full money, so I'm like £2,000 down for a horse that I haven't even got, and actually I'm just battered and bruised from it. So that's the new horse story. It was gone within 6 days, which is really sad. I felt like I gave her all the opportunities to settle. She'd had everything she needed. She'd had field time, which she hadn't had in like 3.5 weeks on their new yard. On their yard, not my yard. And the first thing I did was give her field time and let her go and be a horse. So I was really disappointed, and I am still really disappointed. I just don't know what to do with all the horses. Bambi has had a couple of viewings, but it's like people who can't ride and just haven't got a clue. There's someone going down to see her today, which is really got potential to buy her. But obviously if she is still here sort of next week, I think I might just make the decision to bring her home and go from there. But it's not really what I want to do. I'm just in a rut. I don't want any of them at the minute. I feel like I want Bambi to go. I need to get Buzzy right and get rid of him and keep Frankie for the baby. And I would love a Connie Cross that I could just go out and potter about on, do some little low-level events, enjoy. Like, I'm sick of getting hurt. The year has just been absolute crap. From the day we bought Kipper back, well, so from the day Bambi came back from the breakers to it squashing me, to then getting her good, to it going 20 million steps back. And now she's being absolutely amazing for the sales guy. She hasn't put a foot wrong, back to the horse that I know. Then obviously we lost Kipper because the guy, like the girl that I sold her to, sent her home with a big massive puncture wound. And then obviously Buddy's come. Didn't have any expectations of what he was going to be like, but we can't even catch him. So I just feel like it's one thing after another and something needs to give, or I'm going to give up altogether, and I don't really want to do that. So yeah, there's your story. There's exactly what happened. Like, I just feel like, am I a bag of crap that can't ride? Is this why Bambi isn't going right for me and she's going right for everybody else? Is that why this new horse that was so quiet, I can't even do anything with? Like, his lady was like, you've definitely done something to her, like there's no way it's doing that. And I was like, I haven't even been on her. I said, it's been in the field every day. I haven't even had a chance to get on it yet and it's behaving like this. So I can't say it's anything that I've done. So yeah, I'm not even going to add the videos in of her because it's just pointless. I'm not even going to add the videos in my bruises. If you want to see them, you'll have to go over to Instagram because that's where that story is. So thanks for watching. I don't know when there's going to be a next video because I have no idea what my plan is with horses. Do I give up? Do I keep going? Yeah, so thanks very much for watching, guys. We will hopefully see you soon.